and welcome to episode 93 of the Best Day Ever Crafting podcast. This is a podcast about my making journey and celebrating with you all the reasons why crafting every day makes for the best day ever. My name is Trish, and you can find me on Instagram as Tie-Dye Diva. Also, you can find me on Ravelry as Tie-Dye Diva. Another place on Instagram you can find me is _fibertree, and that is where I share lots of content about planning and journaling and paper crafting. So if that's something that interests you, then you can head over there to follow me as well. Show notes, we're going to do a little bit differently. I'm going to try putting the show notes in the description box below. I will still link to the podcast from the Ravelry group, but I'm going to see how it works with putting the show notes in the description box, because I think it will streamline the process just a little. So we'll give that a shot for this episode. It's been way too long, I know. I just feel like this summer has flown by, and we've been doing a lot of traveling. What else? We have been just family stuff, and some days not feeling the greatest. My secular work job has been extremely busy, and so that's been taking up quite a bit of my time and mental energy. So that's where I've been, but all is well, and I'm so happy to be here for another episode to share with you all the things I've been busy with when it comes to crafting. So I've got several things that I finished since the last time we chatted. I will share with you an update on my works in progress. I've got a couple of new works in progress, I believe. And what else? Some acquisitions, as always, right? And then, like, I have show notes, so why am I at a loss for words? Yeah, some acquisitions. I will share with you a couple of new to me podcasts that I've been watching since the last time we chatted. And we'll close out. When I close out at the very end, I'll share with you a few pictures and video from our vacation in the Outer Banks, as well as a yarn crawl that I did with my maker friends. So we started out in the state of Maryland, where I live, and then we ventured out to Delaware and visited several yarn shops and just had the most amazing time. So I'll put that at the very end in the closeout. I'm going to get a sip of tea before I get started. I'm still working really hard not to put sweeteners in my tea. I do sweeten my coffee, but I'm trying to work on not putting sugar in my tea. And this one I'm having today is really lovely. It's from Bigelow Teas. And this is called Stress Free. So this is from their Bigelow Benefits line of teas. And this, as I said, is stress-free rose mint herbal tea. It's got rose blossoms, chamomile, hibiscus, tulsi leaves, licorice root. I can really taste the licorice, but it's not overpowering. Passion flowers, skullcap, natural rose, and raspberry flavors. Rose hips, apples. I can taste the apples for sure. Peppermint, not quite getting the peppermint, even though that's one of the main ingredients. Elderberries and raspberries. So it's a really, really lovely tea. And I'll be sipping on this to keep my throat nice and clear. And this is in this lovely mug that I picked up from Jenny the Potter at our most recent Sheep and Wool Weekend event. Yes, I got this actually from Sheep and Wool. It's so beautiful. And it's been in the rotation quite a bit. So let's get started with the things I have finished since I last recorded. I was able to finish these socks here. These are vanilla socks on Magic Loop by the Crazy Sock Lady. This is a pattern I have referenced so many times on the podcast. It's basically just a very basic top-down sock pattern, and it features a traditional heel flap and gusset. The yarn that I use for these is from 29 Bridges, and let's see here. The color is, there was no color for these because I believe the self-striping is a new venture that they're doing. And the last time I checked, I did not see self-striping on the website. So it could be something that you can only get from the shows that they do. But I really love these micro stripes. At best, there may be about 2 rows per color. But it is on their go-to sock base. So I will say that. And it's a very, I think it's listed as a light fingering yarn, but once it knits up, it's very plump and substantial. I have not wet blocked these yet, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to. I just find that wet blocking stretches them out quite a bit. So I will probably just wear these as is until it's time to wash them, and then of course I'll have to wet them. But here is the way they look on a sock blocker. So I did the medium size, which is a 64 stitch count, and that worked out really, really well on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. And I absolutely love them. So I knit a lot of socks, and I am thinking about gifting quite a few of them this fall because I have so many of them. So, but these will not be gifted. I said that to say that these will definitely not be gifted because I love them so much. So again, Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop by the Crazy Sock Lady, and the yarn is from 29 Bridges on their go-to sock base. Okay, believe it or not, I have 3 more finished objects to share with you. And the next one I'm going to share with you, this is, I'm going to go to my project page to make sure that I'm getting this right, but this is my coffee break shawl. And let me go to my projects. Coffee break, yes, coffee break shawl. I still have it listed as a whip, so I need to update that. I'll update that before I do the show notes. But basically, the coffee break shawl is a pattern by Margaret for Heidi and Lana. And I'm going to insert a picture of the shawl here. So basically, the coffee break shawl is as you can see from the picture, an asymmetric shawl that features lots and lots of striping and texture. So this is my cast on there. So I started here on this edge with just this itty bitty triangle, and you can see that beautiful broken rib texture there, some garter stitch, this textured stitch here, which I absolutely love. Just so much fun, so simple, but really, really big impact. There's some more striping alternated with that broken rib. If you hear some noise, those are my very loud neighbors. So I may have to take a break for a minute, hopefully not. And I'm going to turn my fan on. So if you hear a hum, it's from my fan because it's a little warm today. Okay, so getting back to the coffee break shawl. So you can see the stripes and the textures, and then another huge section of this beautifully textured stitch right there. And it ends with more stripes. I was supposed to do, I kind of did my own thing from this portion down. Honestly, I was kind of over this shawl. Not over it as in not liking it. I absolutely love it. But as far as working with it, I was supposed to do another row of this broken rib at the very end, but I opted to continue with garter stitch. For one reason was because I really wanted it to be done, but the other reason is I wanted to use up as much of the yarn as I had. So I did pretty good with that, and I absolutely love this shawl. It's going to be so perfect for like the way the weather is now. In the mornings and evenings, it's like in the 50s. So this would be perfect if I have to leave out for an early morning doctor's appointment, or leaving out to go to work on the days I go into the office, just to put around my neck. It's very lightweight, but as you can see, it's pretty big. So I'll be able to wrap this around several times. Let's see. This is generally how I wear a shawl like this, and sometimes I'll just wear it just as a pop of color. I'll just put it around my neck and wear it like that because it's pretty good size, and I still got some fabric here I can take and just drape on my shoulder or tuck it in under like this. So this is generally how I wear a shawl like this. So again, this is the Coffee Break Shawl by Heidi and Lana, and for this project I also used 29 Bridges yarn in the Go-To sock, and all of the colors will be on my Ravelry page in my show notes. But basically I used one skein of the Go-To sock for the main color, which is the color, this really beautiful pink, and a mini skein set from 29 Bridges. So it doesn't take a lot of yarn to get a pretty good size shawl. So very, very happy with this. This has been on the needles way too long. Let's see, when did I start this? I started this shawl on April 25th, 2020. It says I started this April 25th. Yeah, April 25th, 2023. That sounds about right. And I finished it about 2 weeks ago. So I had just decided that I was going to really buckle down and finish up the works in progress that I had just laying around that was starting to bother me. Some I have frogged, some I'm still trying to make decisions on. But yes, I am really happy to be getting into my whip pile and finishing up some things. Okay, next up is another really big finish, and this is my Second Avenue wrap by Amy Miller, and I'm going to insert a picture of that shawl right here. I'm going to go back to my Ravelry page again because I want to see when I cast on for this shawl. So I cast on for this shawl November 25th, 2022. And I completed it September 5th, 2023. So I actually took this with me when we went on vacation to the Outer Banks, and I finished it there. That was my goal. And here it is in all of its amazing loveliness. This was wet blocked because I really wanted these beautiful lace and yarn to just really relax so that I could get the maximum sizing from this, and also just to open up that lace. So this is a pattern by Amy Miller, and it features lots and lots of texture, lots of garter stitch, lots of stripes, and it features 1, 2, 3, 4, it features 5 colors. So it's a variety of yarns that I used. Dapper Dye Works in this green is called Stay Golden. Dapper Dye Works is no longer dyeing yarn. This beautiful color here, that variegated color, is from Hue Loco, and it's called Falltastic. The black is by the Plucky Knitter. It is their Primo Fingering Base, which is a blend of merino and cashmere. What else did I use? I also use, for the white, is also Plucky Primo Fingering. That color is Pillow Tickling, which is right here, that neutral color. And then finally, this beautiful orangey brown is also from the Plucky Knitter. And I don't have, for some reason I didn't put that color. I'll have to look. I have to look and see what color this was, but it's so beautiful. And I'm so excited because I feel like I finished this just in time for this fall season. So as you can see, it is a very substantial shawl. Even on my larger frame, I have plenty to fit completely over and then some to wrap around. So it's an absolutely beautiful shawl. I'm just so happy to have finished this. This was a beast of a project. Like I said, it calls for 5 individual colors of fingering weight yarn, and it is knit on a US, let's see, it's knit on a US 6 4.0 millimeter needle. And it took me quite a while to finish it. I think just like with the coffee break shawl, I just got a little tired of working on it. But I really think that if you really stick with this, if you're a monogamous knitter, which I am not, I like to work on several projects at once, you can definitely knock this out much sooner than I did. But you know, I'm not going to be hard on myself about that. I'm just so happy that it is finished. And I cannot wait to wear this autumn. Just stay tuned on Instagram because I will probably be posting a lot of pictures of me wearing it. Okay, so again, this is the 2nd Avenue wrap by Amy Miller. My next finished object is, I think this is the last one. So this is number 3. And this is number 4. Number 4, this is also something I have had in my whip pile for so long. I don't even know why it took me so long to finish this. Okay, this was started in December 20th, 2021. Wow. And I just finished it this week. This is the Just Feel Festive shawl by Kalisha Ryan, and I will insert a picture of it right here. So again, Just Feel Festive by Kalisha Ryan. As you can see from the picture, it is meant to be a very colorful shawl. You can, I decided to do mine as a gradient, but as you can see, I think Kalisha's is somewhat of a gradient, but the sky's the limit as to how you choose to place your colors. So I started out with this neutral white, and you hold 2 strands of fingering double for a DK weight, and you crochet this on a 5 millimeter size H hook. So I went from the neutrals to the yellows, more neutrals, and then I went right into, you can see even in this neutral, there's some blue starting to show up in there. Actually, no, not quite. Not quite, but then I went on into the lighter blues, and I went lighter to darker to even darker, and then I finished up with some variegated colors. I have not weaved this in because I'm debating whether I'm going to put a tassel on this. I need to send the recipient a text message to see if she likes tassels or not. People are very, very opinionated about tassels and fringe, which I have realized since I've been knitting. You either love it or you hate it. I love it. But I do know some people who really don't like it. So before I go through the bother of putting a tassel on each end, I will ask her. But yes, the Just Feel Festive wrap is done. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy to have this off of my hook. Really love the way this turned out. This too is really another really substantial piece. It's not as deep as the Second Avenue wrap, but it is very, I won't say it's heavy. It's very it's very substantial. It's a DK weight in crochet, and you know crochet just takes up a lot of yarn, so it just feels, it's giving me that weighted blanket vibes. If you've never tried a weighted blanket, and I'm one who tends to run kind of hot when I sleep, but it is so comforting to have a heavy blanket or quilt on you, and that's what this shawl feels like. It's so awesome. So again, Just Feel Festive by Kalisha Ryan. It is available on Ravelry for just $1. All of the patterns that I referenced are available on Ravelry, and I will link to their locations in the show notes. I used a variety of fingering weight yarns to make this shawl. I didn't keep track of exactly what I was using because I was just grabbing from my scrap or leftovers. So it's an amazing stash buster project, and just another really good reason to knit this, to crochet this. Okay, so that is it for finished objects. So let's move on into what I have been working on. Even though I've been really busy at work, I've also tried to balance that out with my making, and making sure that my whole life is not surrounded by work, and that I'm not overly taxing myself so that I don't have the energy for my crafting. That is something that is very important to me. So it has been a challenge, but I have managed to be quite productive, which I'm very grateful for. So in this bag, which is from Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Fibers, is another whip. I am just cranking out the whips, and that is making me so happy. So let me head to my project page for this. This pattern is called the Beach Party Socks, and this is a pattern by Jody Brown. She is one half of the Grocery Girls. She needs no introduction. And I'm going to insert a picture of the Beach Party Socks right here. So I'm just still looking for my Ravelry project page. This tells you how long it's been since I started these, because I don't even see, I think I created a project page for them. I'm pretty certain I did. Okay, I'm not going to take too long to look for these, but I really wanted to tell you how long they've been in my whip pile. I was really never one to have a lot of whips. I like to start things and finish them. I really don't like having whips laying around. It really bothers me. So that's why it feels so good to get these done. You know, it's quite possible I never created a project page for them. Okay, let me do a search. Type out Beach Party. Nope, I never even created a project page for these. So I will be creating a project page for these before I do the show notes. So you saw the picture. Again, the designer of these socks is Jody Brown. And ends to weave in. Did I weave in these in? No, I didn't weave. I wove in the ends on one. Let me show you the one I wove the ends in on. Well, I'll show you both. Let me just tuck all these in. That's where I stop with these. weaving in the ends. So both of the socks are done with the exception of the heels. So these are shorty socks, and the pattern, the pattern really only calls for 2 colors, but I decided to do mine in several colors of assorted yarns, and I will put what these yarns are when I create the project page, but they're all left over from previous projects. I know I did a sweater out of this plucky DK. I did a hat out of this, I think this is the Harmony worsted or DK. I did a sweater out of this. This was my Ingle sweater from it's a Caitlin Hunter pattern, and this is a wool mice yarn, and I can never pronounce the name of it because it's German. And I think I almost want to say this neutral color is Neighborhood Fiber Company, and I think I knit a hat out of that several years ago. And the main color is from Dapper Dye Works, who is, again, no longer dyeing yarn. This was on their DK base. And I absolutely love and adore these. Why did it take me so long to finish these? I have no idea. But when I literally finished, I had one sock done, and I had maybe a quarter of this one done. And I was literally able to finish this in a weekend in just a few hours of knitting. There are my neighbors again. Okay, so just a few hours of knitting, I was able to finish them. So the only thing I have to do now is a little bit of measuring and do the afterthought heel. So I already have a marker here, but I'm going to measure my feet again since it's been so long since I started these. I would venture to say about 2 years. So I'm going to measure carefully and do my placement and do my heels, which should not take long at all. So again, Beach Party Socks by Jody Brown. I cannot wait to have these for the autumn. And these are knit, I believe, on a US 6. I don't have a project page, so I'm not going to take time to look for the pattern, but I do believe these are knit. No, not a US 6. It's a US 4. Pretty certain about that. And I did use the magic loop. Yep, US 4. US 4. So happy to have these just about done. Okay, next up, let's see, do I have any more whips? Yes. The other whip that I can share with you progress on is, you've seen this as of recent. This is my Pamplemousse sweater by Tiff Nealon. And I'll insert a picture of this sweater here. So here's the progress I've made on the Pamplemousse. The body is done, the ribbing is done for the bottom, and I just about have one sleeve completely done. As you can see from the pattern, it does call for you to do some color work on the sleeve that mimics some of the color work in the yoke of the sweater. So I will be doing that. And it also calls for you to end the sleeve, not in ribbing, but in herringbone stitch, which I've never done before. Herringbone is definitely one of Tiff's signature stitches. She loves to use herringbone stitch in her designs, so I have to decide what I want to do. Do I want to do the herringbone stitch, or do I want to chicken out and do ribbing? We'll see. But the Pamplemousse is a top-down colorwork yoke sweater, and I've talked about the yarns I've used already, so I won't go much into that. But I will say again that this pattern is just so well written, and this would be a perfect sweater for someone who wants to delve into color work. I think it'll be a perfect first color work sweater. So what else can I say about this? I've tried it on and it fits so good. It's just perfection. I'm just so pleased with the way this fits. And this is knit in worsted weight yarn, but it doesn't feel super heavy, but I can tell it's going to be really warm and cozy. So I'm envisioning wearing this with boots and maybe a tissue tee or tank underneath for extra layer of warmth. I can also see wearing this with a white crisp shirt underneath, although I am concerned if I layered it, I might be too warm. Definitely with boots and jeans, pencil skirts. I think this would be adorable in a pretty, maybe brown pencil skirt or gray pencil skirt. Really, any of these colors. I could pick fabric from my stash and make a pencil skirt, whip up to wear with this along with some pumps. I think it's just would be super cute, and maybe put a silk scarf at the neck, or either a oh, what's the scarf everyone's making by Petite Knit? You know what I'm talking about. So I love it, love it, love it so much. Cannot wait to have it finished and worn. I kind of I guess you could say I got distracted by finishing my whips, which is not a bad idea. This was also a test knit for Tiffany Lynn, which I was not able to complete by the deadline, so I felt really bad about that. But I was happy that I at least was able to post a picture of it on my Ravelry page and complete almost one sleeve. So this is something that I hope to finish very, very soon because I love it so much. Okay, what else have I been working on? Let's see here. So this is another pair of socks. You saw these the last time we chatted. This yarn is from Regia, and I believe Arnie and Carlos designed this. Hold on, I got a stitch that just popped off. I have so many stitch protectors and I never use them, and I always have stitches popping off my needles. You think I'd learn, right? So here's my progress on sock number 1. I've got the heel flap already started. So again, this is yarn by Regia for Arnie and Carlos. It's their perfect pair. And the way the yarn is wound in the skein, it just allows you to knit the heel, the body of the sock, and the heel flap using contrasting yarns. As you can see, this brown is the contrasting heel, will be the contrasting heel toe and cuff, but you don't have to change the yarn because it's already built into the pattern. So that is super, super wonderful. I'm really, really enjoying these. I am using the same pattern. The I just said what it was. The Crazy Sock Lady Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop is the pattern that I'm using for these. And let me give you another close-up of this. I'm hiding my hands because I'm having another psoriasis flare on my hands, so they look terrible at the moment. But anyway, I want to get close up so you can see the patterning in these beautiful socks. I love them so, so much. These might end up being gifted to my son. We'll see. I say I'm going to gift socks, but they really are hard to let go of. And I feel like every time I knit a pair of socks, it's just like doing it for the first time all over again. Even doing the heel flap, it's just incredible. Just incredible. This is a superwash yarn, but it's really hardy and sturdy. So these should stand up to a lot of wear and tear. And I'm really enjoying this project. So we'll see how the yarn works up as I go along in the pattern, and hopefully the next time I record, I'll have at least one of these finished. Who knows? Maybe the whole pair will be finished. And I certainly hope not to be away for as long as I was this particular time. So the last whip I have to share with you is a brand new whip. And, oh, let me show you the bag that my socks were in. Forgot to share that. This was also picked up from the Maryland Sheep and Wool weekend. This past Maryland Sheep and Wool from Yarn Centric, which was an event hosted by 29 Bridges, which will also be happening in 2024. So definitely stay connected to 29 Bridges on Instagram so that you'll know all the details. But it was an amazing event. And Button Jar Studios just happened to be there, and this is one of the things I picked up from her booth, which I absolutely love. This cute little bag here. There was a leather strap attached to this, but I accidentally pulled it off, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it back in. So we'll see. Well, I really love the way that strap looked though, so I'll see what I can do. The final whip is something new that I've cast on, and this is hanging out in this gorgeous bag that was also picked up from Maryland Sheep and Wool at the Miss Babs booth. And this bag is by Blue Spring Craft, and I finally cast on for my, yes, I'm drawing a blank, my Soldotna. So you've probably already seen this sweater. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I will insert a picture of it right here. So here's another picture of the Soldotna crop sweater. I absolutely love the way she has it styled on a pattern page. And this is the progress I've made thus far on mine. So my yoke is just about done. Another really nice, simple, meditative yoke pattern. I'm trying to be careful because, of course, I don't have stitch protectors on these either. Okay, here we go. All right, let me stick this in here. Okay, here we go. So this is the progress I have thus far. I'm trying to turn this around. So there we go. So that's the back. This is the front. So this is the progress I have made thus far on my Soldotna crop. It's pretty. It's so pretty. I cannot wait until this is done. Look at those stitches. Look at the beautiful yarn. It almost looks like stained glass, doesn't it? And I don't know whether you can see, I finally went back into that gray color and making really good progress. This is a kit that I purchased several years ago from Dragonfly Fiber, who is now being run by Canon Hand Dyes. And the colors in my Soldotna, this deep purple that I started out with is Velvet Underground. The gray is Silver Fox. The pinkish purple is Royal, and the bluish green is Riptide. So, like I said, I'm making really good progress with this, and this sweater is being knit on a US 6 needle. So, as you saw, I'm currently working with the gray and the purple, and the body of the sweater will also be knit with the purple. So I had 2 skeins of this beautiful, the body will be knit with the gray, but it will also have little specks of this purple in it. So when I purchased this kit, I specifically remember the need to purchase one more of these purples. I may have had to purchase another gray too. Yes, I had to purchase each of this additional to be able to make the sweater in my size. But this is the color gray that I ended up getting. I didn't even pay close attention to it. And do you see how different these look? This is so much darker than this is. I personally think that it's such a stark contrast that even if I alternated, it would end up looking like micro stripes, and that's not quite the look I was hoping for this sweater. So when I went to wind this yarn up, I was so disappointed because, like I said, that's not the look I was hoping for. And I could probably just knit the body in this color, but I only have one of these, and I don't think it's going to be, I know it's not going to be enough to knit the body. Basically, whatever is left from the yoke, along with this full skein, should be enough to knit the body, which is cropped. Additionally, because I'm not sure if I want to knit mine as cropped as the pattern calls for. So I'm really at a crossroads. I really don't know what to do. Like I said, this company is still in business, but I was not able to find this color on the website. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to do some, head to some yarn shops and try my best to match this up as best as I can. This is just way too dark. I just don't think it's going to work. I might try to do alternating, but I don't want to do all that work and then have to rip back. So I might do a swatch to see what the colors look like alternating. Maybe because there's some flecks of this in the body, you won't notice that much. Or maybe because there are some flecks of this, it'll just be super busy with micro stripes and flecks. I don't know. But I discovered that about 2 weeks ago, and I was so bummed I have not picked this up again. So I could have been done with this yoke quite some time ago, but I got to figure out what to do with this gray, these gray colors not matching. So I'll figure it out. But it feels so good. It's so soft, and I can see getting a lot of rotation in this. I'm already thinking some black jeans or black slacks would be stunning with this. Definitely over a dress. Maybe I'll be able to make a dress to match it. So we'll see. We'll see. The next time I record, I should have it all figured out. Details are forthcoming. Okay, what has come into the house since I last recorded? I just felt the air come back on, and I still feel like I need, oh wait, I have one more whip. There's one more new whip. I can't believe I almost forgot, and it's sitting right here in front of me. I have cast on, and everything is sitting in this amazing bag from Shayla. I will link to her shop. Oh, I cannot even remember the name of these bags, but you've seen them before. So well made. I don't even want to call it plastic. It's like it's an upscale polyurethane. So I've decided to cast on for a granny square blanket. I was inspired to cast this on because when I went on the yarn crawl with my girlfriends, a couple of them were making, I'm just moving my teacup out of the way so it doesn't knock over. A couple of them were making a granny square blanket going continuously in the round, and both of them were just so beautiful. I was like, you know what? I've got some downtime while I'm away with you guys. I am going to start me a blanket. Had no business starting a blanket because remember, I'm still working on my granny stripe blanket, which has not gotten any love, but nevertheless, I cast on anyway. And I'm just so smitten with this project. So let me show you the progress I've made. I had intended to have this to be one continuous granny square blanket. But as I started working on it, I was thinking, I really would like this to be more of a portable project. And so I decided to do individual squares. That way I can take it with me, because I think that's what's been the hold up with my granny stripe blanket. It's so big right now that I can't like take it when we take a ride to the park, or if we take a weekend, if we just take a day trip somewhere. I mean, I could, but it's really not ideal car knitting or just sitting and knitting or crocheting while talking with friends. So I decided to do individual squares for this one. And this is what I have thus far. So this is the color palette that this blanket will be. I'm trying to keep it really close to this. So reds and browns and oranges and golden yellow greens. This, as you remember, is the color that was in my Second Avenue wrap. I've even got some sparkle. Not sure whether you can see that or not. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was my first square. So all of my squares are 17 rounds, and I will be piecing them together with a beautiful golden yellow color. This is also being stitched, crocheted on fingering weight yarn, and I'm using an H hook. It's a 5mm, and I'm using a hook from Clover. And what else can I say? I'm joining my yarn with the magic knot method, and I'm just loving it. I'm loving every single bit of this. I have to give hats off to my good friend Stacy, who guided me as I started this project. And I think I'm going to really love this. I just hope I can keep the momentum up. And I do think that having the individual squares will help me to do that, because I can see the progress on this. So far I have one, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 done already. And let me just show them to you individually. So this was number 1, square number 1. And this is actually, the way I started this, or the yarn I used to start this, was a self-striping fingering weight yarn, I believe from Barocco. I don't even know if I don't even have the ball band anymore. So that's how I started it, and that dictated to me what the colors would be in this blanket. So here is another square. Here's another. Here's another. I just love that little pop of color in the middle. Here's another one. And here is another. So I will also be doing some solid, and I'll try to make some type of design. I don't know how many solids I'm going to do. I'm going to probably have to do a little bit of math and a little bit of drawing to figure it out. But I know I will be making at least 35 of these squares. So yes, I have quite a ways to go, but I think I'm making really, really good progress thus far. And like I said, this is definitely one of those projects that I can just take with me on the go. Like this little bag here, I think eventually, or this big bag I should say, eventually it's going to get to a point where I'm not going to have all of the squares in here. I'm just going to have yarn and maybe 2 or 3 squares. And I will also at some point start the joining process, because I don't want to get to the end and have 35 blocks and have to join them all together at the same time. And I think me and my good friend Steph, we did the math, and I believe 35 squares and 17 rounds will get me at least a twin size throw or twin size blanket, which is good enough to wrap up in while you're watching television. So this is the square that I just started this week. Here we go. There we go. That's the right side. So really, really enjoying these. Absolutely enjoying this process, and I will just keep showing you squares as I get them done. I can't believe I almost forgot about this. First off, I am still deciding whether I'm going to participate in the 29 Bridges, not the 29 Bridges, the Stephen West make-along. Honestly, I'm still a bit traumatized from the last one. Not that it was bad or anything, but that shawl, if you remember the twists and turns, was a beast of a project. So I pulled these colors from my stash. These colors are 29 Bridges, and just in case I decide to participate. But how gorgeous are these? Just perfect autumnal colors. I could really, really get into this. So clearly the first clue came out yesterday, and today is October 6th. So clearly I didn't get a head start on the first clue. But if I start on Monday, I should be able to get my to finish up clue 1. So we'll see. So still undecided whether I'm going to join or not. So back to acquisitions. A couple of weeks ago, Miss Babs came to one of my local yarn stores, which is called Fiber Space in Alexandria, Virginia. If you're ever in the Washington, D.C. area, then definitely pay Fiber Space a visit and send me a message and let me know you're coming, because I could meet up with you maybe for coffee or tea or a little shopping. So this is one thing I picked up from that trunk show. This was actually a specialty color for the event, a specialty color for a Fiber Space, and the color is Rose Square. So beautiful. Can you see the sparkle? This is on her Estrelita base, which is 98% superwash merino and 8% lurex. So I'm thinking these would be beautiful socks, or either a one skein shawl would be really nice. This is a really plump fingering also. It's 400 yards, so you could get a really nice one skein shawl or cowl out of that. I also picked up yarn to make my Fleur shawl, which is a shawl by Espace Tricot. I'm not going to take it out of the bag because it would be extremely loud, but these are the colors I chose. I think this will work with my hair color so nicely. And this is the Fleur shawl. So with this pattern, you have the option to knit it either in a DK weight or a fingering weight. So I will be holding fingering weight yarn along with lace weight to get a DK weight gauge. But it's a shawl, so it really doesn't matter. The important thing is that you like the fabric that you're getting when you start knitting. Oh, the sun just came out. It's super beautiful. So nice. It's been really overcast, so that's why I have this glow. This glow on me. I didn't even put up the auxiliary lights today to record because I didn't want anything getting in my way or, holding me up. I'm saying I'm just going to press start, and I'm just going to go. So thank you for the sunshine. So the other thing I'm going to share with you is this yarn here from Hobie Yarns, which is a collaboration between Hobie Yarns and TL Yarn Crafts. So this is the new base, and it is called Melange, and it is a combination of cotton and wool, and it's absolutely beautiful. I believe this is listed as it says lightweight on the ball, but I would say it's like a DK weight. So these are the colors I got. This beautiful green. I got 2 in this navy blue. I got this pretty pink. And you can see why it's called Melange, because the combination of that merino and cotton just gives it a nice heathered, variegated look. I've got 2 more colors over here, so I don't know what I'm going to make. I'm thinking a shawl would be really nice, a stripy shawl, or a striped sweater for the spring or summer would also be nice. And this is the final color, this beautiful orange. This almost looks like a creamsicle, doesn't it? So beautiful. Sorry, I had a coughing spell. So yeah, that's pretty much it for acquisitions. I would love to show you all these together, because I curated all of these specifically with a project in mind. There we go. How beautiful is that? So I have 2 of these navies, and I thought I had 2 of the greens. I think I just have 2 of the navies. So whatever I make, that would be the main color, and then I would do stripes of these contrasting colors. So I got to pick out a pattern for that to be knit someday or crocheted. We'll see. So let's talk about a couple of podcasts that are new to me before I close out. And let me get to my notes. Okay. The first one is Brooke Willow Knits. Her name is Brooke, and I'm not quite sure where she lives. I almost want to say Wisconsin. I believe it's somewhere really, really cold. I don't know why that's coming to my mind. That I could be completely off by that. But anyway, really, really enjoyed her podcast. Very calming. Creating some beautiful things. And I also like the way that she talks about the way she plans to style her projects, along with her knitting and her sewing. So she also sews. She spins yarn, and she has plans to do some weaving. Yes, making sure I don't get these podcasts mixed up. So really, really enjoyed Brooke's podcast. I will link to her YouTube channel in the show notes. Let's see here. And also Knit Sip Happy. The host of Knit Sip Happy, her name is Nancy. And I can't remember where Nancy is from. I almost want to say she's somewhere in the New England states. And she always has wine with her while she's podcasting, which is very entertaining. Again, another prolific maker. She does socks, beautiful sweaters, shawls. She talks very deliberately and very thoughtfully about her projects. She's also a knitwear designer. As a matter of fact, I have one of her patterns in my queue. And I don't know, the pattern I have in my queue is for a pair of socks, but I'm going to do a quick peek to see if she designs other things besides socks. So here they are. These are called the Swiss Dot Shorties. How cute are those? Kind of reminds me of the beach party socks, right? So these are the Swiss Dot Shorties, and those are in my queue, and I've already purchased the pattern. And okay, so take back what I said about where she's from. She's actually from Canada, so I'm getting my podcasts mixed up. But again, beautiful, lovely podcast. I think you would really, really enjoy it. So I think I got through everything. The next time I record, I will have a giveaway. It's been a while since I have given away anything. So I will have a giveaway for the next podcast. So stay tuned for that. Let me know what you're working on in the comments below. Let me know what you've done this summer. Anything fun? And or what are your plans for the upcoming cooler weather? So thank you again for joining me today. I hope that it's not as long until I record as it's been this time. And I hope you continue to find so much joy and happiness in your making. Bye-bye.